Yeah.
Here, so the whole status of manufacturing is key, because if you look at historically, countries that industrialized grew at the fastest pace. So industrialization is core to what we are doing now. When you say industrialization, it has a stigma because it's like smoke, dust, fog,
It doesn't have to be
It
that
really doesn't
yeah,
have
but that's the perception that has been given to Sri Lanka.
Yeah, correct.
Not to the rest of the world. Everyone else is talking industrialization. We are going the reverse.
Yeah,
Right.
even farming, right? We were watching Clarkson's farm at home, and then we saw how industrialized the farming industry is. Like they're all, he's just driving massive vehicles with the fingertips,
right.
and then doing 17 hectares in
Right,
5 hours.
Absolutely.
So it's unthinkable for us. I really like what you said about entrepreneurship, right? So in Bagamu, we are also trying to work with people to build economy, really, to increase production, because we are not used to really make, and there's lack of understanding, I feel, about the market that is available,
Also.
and the market opportunities that, and the where they can sell, because people make, I feel in Sri Lanka, especially where I'm coming from, people feel that they make something to sell on the side of the road.
Yeah. That's
We need
actually,
to think beyond that.
For sure. So this is what I'm trying to get at. Here, when you spoke about a farmer using his remote control. So we if you look at historically, industrialization is in its 6th wave now. From steam to petrochemicals. To
Absolutely. Now it has
pharmaceuticals
evolved
to internet, and now we are at the 6th.
And it's
state
a lot
of industry.
it's a lot cleaner than that smog image.
Yes.
So what's driving the 6th industrialization phase is autonomous technology. Robotics, autonomous industry. You were right. In China, there are driverless trucks.
Of course.
This is 40-foot container trucks. There are 150, I think, massive dump trucks that work in the outer circuits of Mongolia, extracting resources. Running 24 hours, autonomous. There is a port in China, completely autonomous. There are factories, completely autonomous. So what is happening in a global stage now is industrialization 6.0, which I call it. No one has really framed it that way. I frame it because I see the direction. Because if the West has not adapted it, they won't talk about it. China has adapted, so no one is talking about it. So they are like industrialization 6.0. Whereas the rest of the world is at 5.
That's true.
It's like 5G and 6G. China is at 6G. We are now at 5G.
So actually, Australia, I think, gets technology from China to actually extricate their mineral wealth.
Absolutely.
Right? So rurally, we are not even at 3G.
We are not. No, we are not. That's the saddest part, right? For me, it's more personal, because I've been pushing policy and pushing policy thinkers to think in direction, think on the longer term, not a 5-year tenure. I mean, even at the corporate level, we are thinking of a strategic plan is 2-3 years.
Absolutely, which is absurd when you think.
Why is that absurd? Because
and we are not talking
forecast the future.
And Zil, we don't talk about our SME sector, which powers the bulk of our economy, like more than 54%. So SME sector, and the policies don't really seem to impact that very crucial category, which seems to be providing the vast amount of jobs in this country, as well as bringing in foreign reserves.
And also they have to go through the more number of challenges, I think, from local PHIs to local Pradeshia Sabha to local, all of those things, because big companies, even there, baristas have come and set up in Kunegala. They don't face these challenges. Someone who's building a coffee shop from scratch has to go through all these challenges, obstacles to establish.
So you're right in that sense. So this is the dichotomy we face. It's fragmented to such an extent that we isolatedly pick up SMEs and think that SMEs can be empowered. It doesn't work. We have seen very good success stories with the New Zealand Dairy Board, which is a classic example, where they had cooperative societies formed, and through that cooperative bodies they gave equity and made a mass. So there was scale that was created. Even in India it was small in terms of land mass and population size. But if you look at even Europe, that is true. If you look at small little rich European countries, smaller than us, are doing so well. They have industrialized and their manufacturing per capita is significantly higher than us.
Absolutely.
So the SME has been neglected because we don't have a integrated macroeconomic policy.
That's absolutely
Now, how
right.
do we get the farmer that you were talking to, let's say producing, let's say carrots or
milk
or dairy, whatever it is, to scale up? Now that is the problem. So we have to have a mix of multinational companies coming through and ensuring that we allow the local farmers also to scale. So policy must be supportive in the short run. We must say, look, you buy from XYZ and have a supply chain connected. Then the quality of the products also go, because remember, Sri Lanka is still, even though we are a middle income country now, when we are below that.
I find that a very ambiguous statement.
Yeah, I don't have a middle income, I have a poor income.
But our middle class and our, even our rural economy has a palette that is international.
Correct.
So it's very, very difficult to have substandard products for them to adapt. Because that quality framework is important. Now, how do we get to that? To get to that, we must have a strong and a robust, consistent policy framework for about 10-15 years. We must have interest rates flat. We must have subsidized loan rates.
For
we
sure.
must have access to credit. That is number one. Number two, we must have fairly low fiscal taxation.
Agreed.
Right? So that people, for example, import duties, if they are setting up a manufacturing plant that can be scaled up, we must identify these things and see, okay, there are many great companies who can scale. If you are scalable, there should be support.
Of
That's
course,
the
subsidy. There's also subsidy should be actually, you should hand pick what needs to be subsidized, and it can't be an en masse subsidy like the fuel subsidies that we are were used to at least. But what I'm trying to say really is this. I think we'll have to conclude one episode and continue this same discussion into the next episode. But what I really wanted to say is right now, we are in the 17th iteration of the IMF, us going to the IMF. Do we really need the IMF right now, as we stand?
I think it's dangerous. For me personally, we shouldn't have gone into this program, and we are looking at the 18th. Also on the horizon, and that is the biggest danger. The 17th was forced upon us. We could have had an alternative because China was coming out with the bailout package. If China came out with that $5 billion bailout package, we wouldn't have gone this route. But this was a forced route because after the 2019 change of guard, IMF needed to get back in, and they got back in through this particular mechanism. The perception is, as you rightly said, people think that we can manage our finances, and this is the rhetoric that is out there because people talk about fiscal slippage or not, but it was not fiscal slippage. Because you must remember, remember the IMF preconditions are something that we have not spoken about.
Absolutely.
One of the preconditions was, when they took over, was to let the exchange rate slip. That was the precondition. You can check the vision, right? Even now they talk about flexible exchange rate, and they sugarcoat it, saying, look, if you let the exchange rate slip, you will build up reserves. Because imports become expensive, exports become a bit more competitive, and this is the theory. But if you analyze the data, this theory falls apart. There is absolutely no evidence. Our trade deficit has widened. Our exports have grown at around compounded 2% for the last decade. And our exchange rate has gone through the roof. It has, in 2018 we depreciated by 2017 I think we depreciated by 20%. 2022 we depreciated by almost 60%. And now this depreciation, the nature of the balance sheet is such that the depreciation hits the balance sheet because we have got external liabilities of $66 billion, external assets of $16 billion. So we have a negative net worth of $50 billion. Now when you revalue that against the exchange rate, the rupee equivalent is what we see in the balance sheet of the central bank. So the revaluation itself adds more debt onto the
Absolutely.
balance sheet,
Existing.
right? On top of
Oh
that,
my God! Yes, I didn't realize
on
that.
top
Yeah.
of that,
Yeah.
on top of that, look at the state-owned enterprises.
Yeah.
State-owned enterprises themselves, Sri Lankan Airlines, CEB,
Yeah.
Ceylon Petroleum,
Yeah.
these three have dollar liabilities on their balance sheet.
Absolutely.
When the exchange rate is depreciated overnight, like the way we did
Yeah.
on the back of an IMF conditionality,
Yeah.
the loss incurred on those balance sheets are close upon 1.3 trillion rupees.
Yeah. That's incredible.
Incredible. That was 1 year of tax revenue,
Yeah.
right? From 2020 to 21, 22, if you take the cumulative loss,
Yeah.
it's public available. No one reads about it
Yeah.
because sadly no one talks about it.
Yeah. I don't think a lot of
During
people don't
Aragale,
know.
we just came through that, and
Yeah,
after
so
that we
because
will
people
forget
are
about it.
people are clueless, right?
Yeah.
I mean, people don't know what is really going on, and
Yeah.
that is by design.
Mm-hmm.
Because the academics out there also don't come up with the
Yeah.
data.
Yeah.
I mean,
And they're
if-
not accessible to normal people. They can't
and
understand.
they might not necessarily
Yeah.
explain it also
Yes.
because the balance sheet is something completely not taught in economics. We came from capital markets and finance, so we kind of understand how the balance sheet works.
Absolutely.
So that is published in publicfinance.lk.
Yeah.
Go through that and see. It is a public document.
Yeah.
Ceylon Petroleum lost 900 billion rupees
Yeah.
due to exchange rate losses
Absolutely.
in 1 year in the 2022. Now, Sri Lankan Airlines has about 386 billion of accrued
Yeah.
exchange rate losses, and then we say privatize.
Yeah.
But we don't go behind the numbers and see what
How-
really is
yeah.
driving the cost.
Absolutely.
We have been programmed because the IMF says structural reforms.
Yeah.
Here is the list:
Privatize.
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 So we see these particular when we hear the numbers or losses, we are a loss of words, and then we think the darn thing should be privatized.
Yeah.
It's a
Because we
burden.
only see
That's
these
the
vast
worst thing
numbers.
you
And
do.
the rhetoric is in that direction.
Of
They don't
course.
analyze the loss.
Yeah.
When you break down the loss,
Yeah.
it shows.
Can you, we'll stop the first episode here, and let me quickly say a big thank you to our sponsor, and we will continue the same discussion in the next episode as well. So a big thank you, for Dr. Kenneth De Silva for being here, and for us to talk about something nobody has spoken about on any mainstream media, simply because it's a little complex, certainly, but at the same time it's very uncomfortable to talk about this, because we like to live in very comfortable half-truths. So we will get into it further in the next episode, but a big thank you to our sponsor on the show, that's G-Flock, of course. G-Flock's newest evening wear collection, social season for the season of plans, parties and perfect outfits. It's here now, so you can just visit any of their 7 outlets and get the perfect setup for whatever time of day that you happen to be going out. So it's the perfect store to shop for, to dress for the occasion. G-Flock. Thank you.